All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 10. We made it to double digits of how to make a few $1,000s. I'm Frederick Ott with my co-host, Sammy. Sammy, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. I'm doing well. How are you?
He's doing well. I'm doing well. We got our very special guest, Quentin Hout, also known as Q. I'm only going to call you Q. Is that okay?
Perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. So Sammy and I go way back with Q, all back to high school, actually. I've known you since we were like 15 or 16, maybe.
A little bit earlier, Fred, we were
St.
on
Margaret Mary.
we were on a football team that did not win a single game together back in grade school.
Are you sure we didn't win a single game?
I'm positive.
You're positive.
Yes.
I have it in my head that we won a few games, and maybe that's.
I
I
won
guess I'm making that up.
I won one game my whole grade school career, and it was in 5th grade. So, and we played when I was in 8th grade, you were in 7th grade. That's when we played together and did
Yeah,
not win together. But,
that's right.
we
And,
enjoyed the times together.
and you two went to different schools, so that the team was a combination of multiple schools, which makes it even more impressive.
Honestly, that's a good point. Yeah, that
Yeah,
kinda makes it more
yeah.
sad now that you say it that way. I have not had that thought in over 12 years, but thank you for making that season worse.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, now this conversation could easily get derailed, and we could go down to the grade school, middle school football landscape in Louisville or the greater Ohio River Valley, but Q, I think we're here because we want to talk about you and your career. And for people listening, we've been talking to a lot of entrepreneurs and founders, and you kind of got a different path you're working on Capitol Hill. And so I kind of just want to go back to the beginning and talk a little bit about uh, kind of like what you studied when we were at University of Kentucky together, and like when you were studying at UK, what was your intention, or like what career did you want to get into?
Yeah, so back in college, studied, finance and marketing, with kind of the focus of getting into startups after college. But around March of my senior year, kind of came to a realization, in college, kind of explore my different options, see what I like and don't like. And main three things I liked were sports, startups, and politics. And I'd done the sports and startups part, kind of exploring those different options in college, but I had never really dove into government and politics. Always found it fascinating, kind of like the why certain things are the way they are, and kind of how society and the government function at times. And going into my senior year, decided to put a halt on startups and um, went to explore options of a Capitol Hill internship, which has turned into almost 4 years uh, here in DC.
That's
Wow.
exciting stuff.
On the really quick on the internship, because if I wanted to go out and get an internship in DC, I would have no idea where to start, because I would imagine a lot of those jobs just aren't posted on like LinkedIn. Maybe they are, but like real quick, what was the process like in trying to find that internship and kind of get your foot in the door?
That's actually a great question and a great observation. A lot of those internships aren't necessarily posted on LinkedIn. Um, Unless you know where to find them, it's kind of hard to like seek it out, Google search and find it yourself. So I reached out to a old buddy of mine that worked in DC, and I said, "Hey, I'm interested in Capitol Hill internship. Um, was wondering if you know of any opportunities available." And he was like, "Yeah, send me your resume. There's always offices looking for interns." So he shot my resume around to a few places, and I got a few reach outs and interviewed, and that's what happened. But it is hard to find house internships. I think the Senate does a better job. They do their postings, I believe, all on one website.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I know you mentioned you made majority of these decisions your senior year of college. I will always think of you. I'm sure Fred will too. As just we're all in the same fraternity as President Q. Um, I, I I feel like that was a very unique position that you had to be in that year, and you dealt with a lot clearly. How did that experience just influence kind of your decision making it into leading your career into politics?
Yeah, I think something that I've always gone by is, life is long, but it goes by quickly. So kind of don't be afraid to experience or try things you're interested in. I think um, the pain of regret hurts more than the pain of failing, or including the pain of discipline. But to add on to that, I think in college, it came to me a realization that I kind of like the way learning how things function, like understanding the why certain policies for the University of Kentucky or our fraternity why they were, and why they were put into place, and what they hope to accomplish when they were set in place. And it also, at the time, presented a lot of opportunities to critical think, kind of think of the cause and effects of your decisions. If you were to do one thing one way, what would be the reaction from group A, group B, group C, all the different stakeholders, whether it'd be people in the fraternity, people in the university, people at headquarters. At the time, I didn't realize that like it was opening up kind of doors to government and politics, but in a way that a lot of those same skills and same situations of having to critical think, thinking about cause and effect, kind of digest information, it translates to Capitol Hill.
I love that, and I think the way you approach the process there is super interesting to me because a lot of people, especially a 21, 22-year-old kid, would be very reactionary in that situation, and it's okay, the adult said this, now let's go from there. But it seems like you're putting on a forethought, um, and like you said, critical thinking into these things. Do you remember when that shift kind of happened? Because at some point in adolescence, early adulthood, that shift needs to happen.
Yeah, I think it definitely happened towards and during college. I think just kind of with anything in life, kind of go with the don't really have a goal, but I have a direction in life. When I
Mhm.
joined fraternity, I said I wanted to be in a mural chair. That's what I said freshman year. Um, but over the course of time, kind of things transpired, got more and more invested and interested. And something that always fascinated me was people's reactions to decisions, um, which I think were understandable. My key point, or to always have with any stakeholder, I want them to understand the full picture of a situation and why decisions
Mhm.
were made. Um, and during my time in college, those first few years, decisions were made and not fully explained to members of the chapter, and that caused uproar. So, one thing I always wanted to do was make sure I had all the facts in front of me, make sure they'd be able to be translated and kind of able to be digested by the rest of the chapter and
Mhm.
understand why decisions were made. So I think, yeah, that's kind of where the shift happened. I think a big part of it was going into senior year at workshop. It was focused on being an authentic leader, being yourself. Um, and I think that's what enabled me to kind of implement those things in real time.
Q, for what it's worth, I thought you were a great president. So,
I think you
yeah.
were a great t-shirt chair, Fred.
Man, I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. All right, so that's kind of, college and into you got your internship and now you're working in the House Majority Leader, Steve Scalise's office. Can you just talk a little bit about like that role, what that looks like, what it's like working with, these federal congressmen and just that whole experience? That's a world that I think a lot of people, especially in Louisville, aren't super familiar with.
Yeah, I think for me, at the end of the day, people are just people, no matter where they are or what position they hold. It's definitely interesting because you have people from all over the country that are congressmen. Their districts have different interests. Some are more rural, some are more agriculture, some are more right leaning, some are more left leaning. And everyone's vote matters in such a slim majority. I think we have it's 217 to 212 currently, so you can only lose a few if you want to build a pass. So it is taking into account everyone's kind of position on different bills or issues of legislation. Um, Overall, it's definitely interesting, but at the end of the day, I think it's just communicating because people are people. There's a reason behind everything why people are doing what they're doing, voting the way they are. And it's kind of just tapping into that.
That's a lovely way to think about it. Obviously, you're pretty early on in your career, as are we. We like to talk about the idea of success a lot on this podcast. What does that look like to you?
Whew. That's a fantastic question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think success at the beginning, and I'd like to expand on this, is success is a measurement in a way. It's a way to measure the direction in which you're moving to achieve a goal or a certain outcome, um, while also following certain rules or parameters, if that makes sense. I think a big thing in life is that you can always win or accomplish your goals by following the rules. And when I say the rules, it's just not necessarily the rules of the game, but also like the rules of yourself, like who you are as a person. Um, I think that's what makes you guys so great. Why I love all your business tips of the day on LinkedIn is because you are being yourself and you are seeing success, kind of staying in the parameter of like you're being true to your business goals while also being true to yourself. Um, I think that's a good way kind of to define success, and it's an ongoing thing. Very few times in life will you be like seen where you hit the suffix of full, whether that be successful, uh, beautiful, or yeah, but successful, beautiful, or all right, we're gonna scratch that.
Bountiful,
Bountiful, plentiful, definitely have
grateful.
one more full. Am I making sense when I'm talking?
You're making
Absolutely.
sense. You're doing great.
I'm like on 30 minutes of sleep. I was so pumped for this podcast.
I love that.
Also, if you want me to dive in on anything, just let me know.
No, I mean, like that's a good point on defining success for you and for your own career. Like, what do you have? I don't know. Do you see yourself staying on Capitol Hill? Do you like that, or do you have goals in politics, or you know?
I think kind of take everything day by day. Um, Tunnel vision leaves you blind to outside opportunities that could be better. I think if I was so focused on going into startups, I would have never really come to realization that like, hey, I've never done politics or anything in government
Yeah,
since I guess grade school with KYA. I don't know if you all ever did that, but yeah, I think it's a day by day thing and it's a feel. My focus every day is just to do the best job I can. Um, I think there's a standard of this office when I joined. Um, and my goal every day is not just to be a part of that standard, but to grow the standard and continue in the office's successes. Um, but there might come a day where I'm like, all right, I want to move back to Kentucky. I want to go somewhere else. I'm kind of done with politics, but as of right now, I think everything's kind of going good.
And Sammy, you can attest to this, but like that, I feel like that's a kind of a different version of the same answer that we get a lot to the what does success look like to you question is there's not so much like a goal or one place that people are trying to get to, but the people that we talk to on this podcast that seem to be like really happy with their life and career and family are like it's more about kind of the journey and like the everyday. I want to wake up and I want to be happy about what I'm doing and be happy about where I'm working and contribute and make a difference. And I don't know what happens in 10, 20, 30 years happens, but as long as I'm waking up no matter what day it is and I'm happy and excited, then everything's good. Is that a fair assessment of kind of what you said?
Yeah, I think so. 100%. I think also like, would you, question for you, would you all say that's kind of how it is for you all?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's difficult to because I think most people set goals and goals are framed around a destination, but is always changing. There really is no destination. At some point, everyone's gonna die. Like that is the destination. That's guaranteed. So yeah, it's difficult in the day to day to keep your eyes just on the journey itself. But the the more I do that personally, the better I feel for sure.
I like to I like to say before I left my job, which like I love everybody there. I just think for me, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and own my own business. And so before that happened, I was just not feeling completely fulfilled. But I like running and I always wanted to run before work, but I just couldn't get myself to wake up before work because I wasn't feeling completely fulfilled, at work. Like if it was a Tuesday, I'm like, the last thing I wanna do is get up at 6, like, I wanna sleep in as long as I can, uh, and I mean, as soon as we went full time, it was just it was no problem, I could wake up whenever I wanted, and, if it was a Monday or a Wednesday or Friday, it was all the same, and I was just pumped up to come here and try and build something.
Yeah, I think that's also something that I like about what you guys are doing in general is kind of took a chance on yourselves, um, fully invested into this, kind of build this up. It's been about 2 years now, correct?
9 months, 10 months.
9 months? Is it?
Yeah.
It feel like it's been 2 years.
It's been 5 years, it's been a month, I don't even like, it's all the same. We had another g Sammy, who was saying that the other day they thought was it it was Victor and
It was
Steve.
Victor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I remember talking about the reason why I was like, I remember talking about it with Durbin, kind of when the website dropped. That feels like 2 years ago. I was at his place back when he lived right outside of DC. We're like, this is great what they're doing, kind of getting out of the routine of everyday life, kind of betting on yourself, being yourself, and kind of going places, which you all definitely have. And it's cool to see every day. Love your all's LinkedIn posts. I will
appreciate that.
every time I see it on my timeline, I will support in one way by loving the post.
You're the man. That it
Yeah,
goes a long way. It goes a
yeah.
long way. Absolutely.
I think your all's account is like the only one I like fully commit interact with on LinkedIn, and which is like my only form of social media. So you guys are
That's
my
me.
main interactions. Interactions.
I love it. I love it, and very much appreciate the support. It's been a long journey, but like we were saying, like every day is fun. Making those videos is fun. Having sometimes we'll be at small networking events in Louisville and somebody will be like, I follow your guys' LinkedIn page. And you're just like, that's funny. I hope you like what you're seeing. But yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap and Q, I mean, I really appreciate your your time here. We have kind of the final question that we ask everybody, and it's a little different for you, but what advice would you have for people that are trying to make a few $1,000s? Maybe they like politics though, and they don't want to start a company. Do you have
Yeah,
any advice for people like that? I guess a career in politics.
I think there's my big thing would be just to go out and do it. There's many ways you can get involved, whether that's on the local level, state level, or federal level. Um, you can do an internship, work at a district office or a field office. There's a bunch of different jobs, or just like quick internships or fellowships. You can explore your interests. If you're kind of hesitant about fully diving in right away, changing your life up. But yeah, my big thing would be just to do it. You can always quit and go back to your routine life, but like I said, it kind of don't want to be looking back when you're 50 years old and wish you did something. Like, oh, I wonder how this would have gone if I went into politics or learned more about government and all that stuff. So
I love it. I love it. It's all about action. We love preaching action on the podcast. I think it's super important. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I think that's how stuff happens. Give it a try. All right, Q. Well, appreciate your time so much. I know your time's super valuable, and we really appreciate you giving us 45 minutes this morning. And good luck with everything in DC. Next time you're in Louisville, please give us a call and come by and see the office.
I will be in town mid June. I will make sure to stop by either on that Thursday or that Friday. If you all are in on Friday,
Yep. Oh, we're
I'll make
in.
sure.
We're
Always.
in. We're gonna get lunch. All right, everybody. That's episode 10 of How to Make a Few $1,000s. Thanks everybody for listening. Sammy, Q, always great seeing you boys. And take it easy. And until next time, see you guys.
See you.
Thank you.